Welcome back. Today we plan to solve October-November 2009 paper 2. Let's have a look. This is the paper October-November 2009. Let's see how does it start with. You work as an ICT consultant for a relaxing holiday company. You're going to analyze the details of some flights booking. Use a suitable software package. Open the file n9flight.csv. So first of all, what we have to do is we have to open up n9flights.csv. CSV is a generic file format, which means it's a comma separated value file. Generic file formats, as I've explained before, are those file formats that can open up in any environment, in any application software. CIE will always provide you with generic file formats. They will not provide you with proper or a specific file format, such as your XLS file for Excel, doc or docx for 2007 for Word. They will always provide generic, which can open up in any other softwares, in fact in all the application softwares, whether it's Ubuntu software, whether they're Apple's, Sun Solaris or Windows, whatever. Anyway, let's continue. Okay, insert 4 new rows at the top of the sheet. 4 new rows. So 1, 2, and here we go. We have 4. Next, place the label delays. Okay, again, please make sure that you don't type in cell A1. Here we go. Don't type any spaces. Average in A2. And then maximum in B2, and long should be in cell C2. Cell C2. Right. LN doc. Next, the airline code is the first 2 characters of the flight number. The airline code is the first 2 characters of the flight number, which means Y7K, Y something like that, right? The airline code, right. In the code column, enter formula to extract that. The airline code, the flight number, this is the flight number. These are the codes. These are the airline, okay, and that's flight number. So the code will be the first 2 characters. How will we do this? Obviously, we have to use the splitting string function, and here we will use the left function. Here is the text, and 2. Here we go. Right. Next, point number 5. In the late column, enter formula which calculates the time by which the flight was delayed. It should return 00 if the flight was early or on time, which was early or on time. This must be displayed in a 0 time format. So we have to use the function over here, because that function will help us to state a logical condition. And the condition over here says that if, I'm sorry, it was not supposed to come in airline, it is supposed to come in the late column over here, is equal to if this is greater than this, then simply subtract this from this, otherwise display 0, right? Obviously, we need to format this in a proper time format, and I'll format into this form. Here we go. Done with this part. In the airline column, enter formula to look up the name of the airline using the file n9airline.csv. Use the code column to help you. So whenever you have to use an external file, open it up and don't close it. Make sure it's opened up. N9 airline, here we have the file, and now what we have to do is, in the airline column, we have to look airline column. Let's see. Oops. Here we go. We have to look up, enter formula to look up the name of the airline. So we'll use VLOOKUP for this. VLOOKUP is better than lookup because VLOOKUP gives you the exact match, helps you to give the exact match, which is one of the good factor. So here's the code. Then we have to look up from where? From here. I'll select all these three, in fact the entire range, and we want the company, which is 3. The company, the name is in the third column. This is 1, 2, 3 from the array, and 0 for the exact match. Here we go. And since it's already absolute, the range, we don't have to make it. External referencing is always absolute. Internal referencing, we have to make the ranges absolute in case of internal referencing, if the array was provided within this sheet over here. Next part. Point number 7. In the hours column, enter function to extract the hours the flight was delayed, make this an integer value. So we need the hours, so we can use a function known as the hour, which will help us to extract the hour. So where we'll have the hour, we'll get that out. Okay. In the minutes column, enter function to extract the minutes part of the flight delay, make sure this is an integer value. So we use is equal to, not the min, because not minutes, minute, and the min gives you the minimum value. So minute, and here we go, it will give you all the minutes. Right. Next, point number 9. In the total minutes column, enter formula to calculate the total number of minutes the flight was delayed, make this an integer value. So we want the total minutes, which means we need to query to convert the hours. This should be multiplied by 60, and then we need to add the minutes to it. This gives us the total number of minutes. Did you get the point? Right? 3, yes, this was 8 hours and 4 minutes, so we converted first 8 hours into minutes and added the number of minutes from there. Next, point number 10. Replicate the formula entered in steps 4 to 9 for every flight done. In step A3, enter a function to calculate the average delay in minutes for all flights. In cell A3 is equal to average. We need to calculate the average minutes. Again, where am I? Inside the enter function to calculate the average delay in minutes for all the flights. So in minutes for all the flights. It doesn't say total minutes, that's why I'm not using total minutes over here. Because it says in cell A3 enter function to calculate the average delay in the minutes. Okay, it doesn't say total minutes. Because if you see over here, sort this row and then ascending order of total minutes, it should have said delay in minutes. Now since we let's read again. I think so we have to use, let's just read again. In the hours column, enter formula to extract the hours. We've done this average. In cell A3 enter a function to calculate the average minutes and for all the flights. So we have to use the total minutes. How many minutes it was delayed, not the minutes only. Here we go. Because we want obviously the total minutes, how much it was delayed. Next we want is point number 12. In cell B3 enter a function to calculate the longest delay. Obviously we have to use a function which is known as the max. To calculate the longest delay for all the flights. Again the max. Oops, sorry. Again I was doing it wrong. You should not. Here you go. Longest one done as well. And then we have delay from all the flights. In cell C3 enter a formula. C3 enter a formula to calculate the percentage of flights that were delayed at least by 1 hour. Now we need to calculate the percentage of flights that were delayed at least by 1 hour. Okay, at least per 1 hour. So how do we do that? We have to use, yes, think over it. Well, what we will do is we'll use the count A and the count F function, which basically means we'll use count if, and in count if we will specify the range. This is the range, and the criteria will be greater than and equal to 1 by at least 1 hour, and done with this I get 12 values that are that, but I need to find percentage, so I will divide this with by count A, because count A tells me or gives me a value of the total number of cells that are present in this range. Right, enter. Now what I can do is I can simply multiply the entire thing by 100, and this is what I get. Next, sort rows 6 to 131 into ascending order of airline, descending order of total minutes. 6 to 131. 6 to 131 into ascending order. Okay, what we can do is simply go to filter, custom filter, airline, and then ascending order of airline, descending order of total minutes. Right. Next, okay, format cells A3 to B3 as integers, so we need to format them, which means as integers. Done. Format cells C3 as percentage value to decimal places. Let me see again. Okay, let's read again. Next part. We were where? Okay. Format cells percentage to decimal places. Format all cells in flight number, code, and airline column to be center line. Flight number, code, airline. Flight number, code, airline to be center line. Was it the format all cells in rows 1, 2, 3, 5 to be center line and bolded. In the rows 1, 2, 3, 1, press Ctrl to select multiple selections. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3 was there. 1, 2, 3, 5 to be center line and embolded. Select only those flights that were between 1 and 4 minutes late inclusive. It were 1 and more 4 minutes late inclusive. Filter between 1 and 4 inclusive. Creator header says create a header that says between 1 and 4 minutes late, and a footer that contains your name, center number, candidate number. Save and print details of the extract. So we have to go to file, we have to go to print, page setup, header, custom header, and you come into footer and type your name, center number, candidate number, and we take a print out. Next part, save and print the details of the extract. Select from all the only those flights that were delayed by more than 90 minutes. So we need to clear this up. We need to find out that were greater than 90. Right. Print this in landscape. Now we have changed the heading to formula used, and print show the formulas. Right click, sorry, click over here, double click, file, print, page setup, change this into this. Okay, one more thing, just change it into landscape and make it 1:2 and make it a 4. There you go. And now you can take a print out of this. Done. Come back to the question. Oops. Okay. In cell A2 to A32 of a new sheet, create a table listing all the airline names using the file. All the airline names. So what I have to do is, in a new sheet, I have to find all the airline names. Just copy this, come here, I'll type airline names and I'll paste this. I didn't copy it, I think so. Copy and paste. I'll embold it so that it's distinguished. Next. Okay. In cell B2, enter formula to count the number of flights for each airline. So number of flights is equal to criteria, sorry, range then criteria. I should have come back to the original. Let me just do it. Switch off the filter, come back to the original values, arrange them, and now you can do it. The range, airline, comma, just this should have been static. Right, anyway, done. Next part. Point 27. In cell C2, enter formula to add the total number in cell C2. In cell P2, cell 2, enter formula to add the total number of minutes late for each flight for each airline. Only include flights that were more than 10 minutes late. You may need an extra column to columns to your sheets to do this. Okay, so we need to first of all find how many flights were more than 10 minutes late. So we'll come here and we'll make another column because we need that, greater than 10 minutes. Right, so we can use over here the if this flight is greater than 10, okay, if it's greater than 10, let's read the question again. Insert this into formula to add the total number of minutes, because we have to add the total number of minutes late for flight. Okay, right? Only include flights that were more than 10 minutes late. Okay, so we have to include only those flights that are greater than 10 minutes late. So if we can apply condition which says that if the value over here is greater than 10, by at least more than 10, so not equal to, greater than 10, then do what? Then display the cell, otherwise 0. So in this case you can see if it's greater than 10 it shows it, otherwise it does not. You can see in all these cases. Do have a look so that you're not doing any mistake. Done. So we have a column made, and this column has only those flights that are more than 10 minutes late. Next part. Now what we have to do is we have to enter formula. We're not done yet, so you might enter formula to add the total number of minutes late. So we can make this as total number of minutes late, right? We can use SUMIF for this, because SUMIF can help us. First of all, we have to specify the string. We will specify this, right? That it didn't work. Why? Oh, I didn't type is equal to. Obviously it shouldn't have worked. So we specify the range, comma, and then we need to specify the value, and then we need to specify the values that were greater than 10 minutes late. Here we go. And again, what you can see over here is this is not Bing's absolute, so I have to do this manually. Please be sure that you check this. This has to be relative. Here we go. We get the values. Right. Next, replicate this formula, enters at step 26 and 27 for every flight. Done. Sort this sheet into a descending order of flight. Sort this sheet into descending order of number of flights counted. Into descending order. Just have to see, is everything in the same order? This is what we counted. What do we have? Sorry, small is too large. Here we come to the next part. Header between 1 and 4 minutes, which contains create a footer that contains your name, sender, and number. Done. You can print the formula as you know this part. Let's do 32 now. You have been asked to prepare a graph for your manager comparing the number of flights for some airlines and the total number of minutes late for delayed. Now basically what we have to do over here is we need to find out how we can do this. Extract from this list only the airlines that had 6 or more flights. So what we need to do over here is we have to find out flights that were greater than or equal to 6. Fine. And then we'll see the question again. Use this extract to produce a graph comparing the number of flights sampled and the total number of minutes late for flights delayed more than 10 minutes for that airline. Select the most appropriate type of graph to chart display the items. Make sure that all axes are appropriate scale so that the both data series are clearly visible. Rescale the number of flights so that the minimum value is set to 5. Ensure your chart is fully labeled. So what we need to do is we have to select type of chart that we have to make. Right. We need to label it properly as well, because this total number of minutes First of all, we have to make the secondary access available. There we go. And these values are total number of minutes late. So this is airline names. This is your total number of minutes late, and then we have number of. Okay, are you still the number of flights with the minimum format? You can copy paste in Word. Remove some desktop publishing advertising material. In your sure that you remove these from your document. 13 to 14 different topics from where you can get such kind of reports. To give you an introduction of widows and orphans, I'll just explain you. Widows and orphans basically is a concept that says that your paragraphs, your tables, bullet lists should not be divided between columns and pages in such a way that you have one line in the first page and rest of the lines in the second page. We will talk about this later on. This is MS Word. We cannot do this unless and until we have typed all this. See you till the next lecture.